Hey everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. We are going to talk about SBI VCTRADE today, but I want to do first 3 quick stories. So this is a new Fast Company article that just came out today, and the Western Union CEO, he says getting rid of banking fee is not sustainable. So let me just kind of tell you, this is the Western Union CEO President Hikmet Ersk. And he was in a panel, as you'll see here. The event took place actually this last Thursday morning, and the Fast Company editor-in-chief Stephanie Mehta sat beside the MasterCard vice chairman Ann Cairns, Western Union CEO President Hikmet Ersk, and also the PayU CEO Laurent Lemoyle. And this is quite interesting because they had a pretty salty discussion, and it was all started when Mr. Lemoyle said that it is about promises in getting delivered to the consumer. That is what he felt was one of the variety of tasks that need to be done to be successful. And money needs to arrive now. It needs to have almost zero fees. And he got quite a reaction from Mr. Ersk. Not everyone was on board with this sentiment because Mr. Ersk was visibly grimacing at the remark that was made in reference to no fees. And when he asked about whether it was sustainable for financial institutions to remove fees, his answer was blunt. It's not. And we're all here to make money, he is quoted as saying, and went on to say that there's nothing wrong with making money off of consumers. To the Western Union CEO, most consumers aren't necessarily looking for zero fees, but simply the peace of mind that they can successfully do a transaction. And he said, the customer in Uganda trusts us to go pick up the money, he said. Well, that customer in Uganda is definitely part of the unbanked, very likely, and also a person who is probably the most vulnerable and least likely to be able to afford those high fees of up to 10% of what they're sending. So, these kinds of statements just get under my skin, and I had to tweet out that there's nothing wrong with making money off of consumers. No, Mr. Ersk, it's not okay to charge $25 to send $250. It's outrageous, especially with the technology available today. And I'm speaking specifically about using the RippleNet technology and XRP as the liquid oil to get that there quickly and at the lowest cost possible. It's just not right. And this has been kind of an interesting tweet because the responses have been pretty amazing. If you want to see the world reaction to his comment, please take a look at my Twitter and have a read because I think it's quite interesting. Okay, so Bitcoin Cash and XRP, I'm on top of the XRP, I'm so sorry, are being added to a site by OKEX. Now, this is the 3rd top by volume exchange in the world, and they are listing XRP to the C2C platform with the British pound, the Chinese renminbi, the Vietnamese dong, the Russian ruble, and the Thai baht. This is big news because of the size of OKEX and these very exotic markets that are just now really coming alive with trading virtual currencies. Wow, the Chinese renminbi and the Thai baht and the Russian ruble. I mean, these are markets that could really make a difference for virtual currency. And thanks to Sparky, you are what? Sparky91011. Thank you for your tweet to let me know that there is a DC Blockchain Summit coming up. And the speakers, of course, are some of the representatives of the U.S. on the Congressional Blockchain Caucus, which I think here's your opportunity to get on the email and start letting it be known how you want them to take a position at this particular event. But also, yeah, there's Hester Pierce, Crypto Mom. Good job and keep it up. We say in Japanese, "Ganbatte, ganbatte kudasai," Hester Pierce. Do the best you can do. And then Brad Garlinghouse will be there along with some other big names in the featured speakers lineup for this event in DC. So mark your calendars. I'm marking mine because I will, of course, look for stories and videos that come out of this event. Let me just see here. It is March 6th and 7th. 2019. Okay. And for those of you that are politically active or want to have some sort of influence over your congressman or the caucus itself, this is a classic opportunity to do so. And all right, let's jump into SBI VC trade. I know a lot of you on Twitter follow Mr. Kitao, but I think if you're not following the SBI VCTRADE site, you might learn a little bit later than some that the site has gone live. So we know that the site is going to go into its real public space within a trading platform that's going to be rivaling the biggest competition here in Japan sometime in March. And I've been getting a lot of questions, do I know that launch date? Well, the last time they announced a date to be launched for July, it happened on July 17th. So it was the middle of the month. No, there is not a specific date. But if we look at the calendar for March, there is a holiday on the 21st. So chances are it won't be the week of the 18th, just because it's a short week. And then that following week is the full swing of cherry blossom viewing time. And there are so many parties, and especially for companies that like SBI, I'm positive they have Hanami parties going on in probably the big parks like Yoyogi or Shinjuku. Yeah, so they're in Roppongi for the most part. Their offices in Akasaka. So yeah, I'm not sure where they'll be, but they will definitely be having events for cherry blossom viewing. So of course, IT and crypto doesn't sleep in its 24 hours, 360 days a year. But in respect to looking at schedules from a point of view of trying to guess when a launch date will be, I don't think it's going to be that last week in March nor the week with the holiday. So if I were a betting person, I would probably bet on the week between the 11th and 15th. That's my guess. But the point of this is to follow the SBI VC trade site on Twitter, because that is probably where you're going to hear the announcement first. And we all look towards Mr. Kitao for keeping us up to date with all his bullish statements. But this is the person that we need to be paying attention to for the VC VCTRADE site. And who you're looking at is Joe Saito. He's an interesting guy. He became the director of SBI VC at the age of 32, and that was in 2016. He is a UC Merced graduate from Cognitive Science Department. And he actually was hired by SBI when he was a new graduate right out of school in 2010. He has a very interesting motto you can see here. He says that become a party, not a bystander of the times. So I think he's very aggressive and very competitive. He wants to, according to his statement here, penetrate the virtual currency world, and that is the mission of SBI Virtual Currency. And his management style, interestingly enough, and I think maybe it's due to his experience of school in the United States, he doesn't take a hierarchical relationship strategy where there's a clear division of juniors and seniors, which is very prevalent here in Japan. So he wants to create a team, and I think he probably has been successful at it, to let both seniors and juniors freely express their opinions. And working in the center of the vortex, he says, is very exciting. So I think this is the man of the hour. And if we look at an announcement that was made back when the quarterly results were given, wow, what was it, a year ago, we learned that at the launch of the full-scale services of the SBI Virtual Currency website, that they are expecting a customer inflow from the SBI's group's customer base of 23.47 million, specifically SBI Securities, with the approximate 4.26 million accounts, and the SBI Sumishin Bank, which has an approximate count of 3.2 million at the time that this presentation was put together, and the SBI Liquidity Market, including SBI VCTRADE, which has approximately 1 million accounts. And through the mutual collaborations between businesses and ecosystems under the SBI umbrella, the endeavor to realize a seamless trading environment between existing financial ecosystems is what he's going to pursue. So I wanted to bring that out because that gives you an idea of the initial market that he's going to address. And when we see the Japan Virtual Currency Business Association, these are the power brokers in that space. And I just want to highlight for you this representative of BitBank, which is Noriyuki Hiroyuki, and he started his career at Nomura Securities. He is now the director at the virtual currency exchange BitBank. BitBank is number one. BitBank is the company, in my opinion, that SBI needs to focus on. Why? Because they are number one, and they're number one in a few areas. So they are number one in transaction volume. They also have been ranked number one for security. They have also been ranked number one for ease of use to onboard onto their applications. So they are number one in volume in Japan. And this is where, for XRP, I think the lion's share of business goes to right now. So I do think that should Mr. Kitao and, of course, Mr. Saito want to get to that number one position, they have to really pay attention as to what BitBank is doing. So it's good to have a competitor. It's very good, very healthy, creates really good competition. And from that famous saying about a blink of an eye, I want to just shed a little bit of light on that. So it was back on April 27, 2018, and this was the interview in which that was announced as a quote from Mr. Kitao. So this is the Business Insider. It's the Japanese version. And when you look at quotes in Japanese, they always start with this symbol right here. And as you can see, this is the famous line. And it says, "Dose watakushi domo ga yari dashitara, ato iuma ni number one ni naru." Okay, so this is the famous line. And the key word here is this one right here, Ato iu ma ni. And what it means is, and it has been translated by so many people. So if I was translating it, I would say something like, as soon as we do it, it will be number one just like that. But also that ato iu mani can be also translated into just like that, or in the twinkling of an eye, or in the blink of an eye, or in the time it takes to say, ah. So there you have it. That is why everybody always says in a blink of an eye. All right, everybody, am I going? Yes, I'm going right to the fluff. So we are going to look at Hanami, which is cherry blossom viewing season, one more time, and maybe even more times over the course of the next couple of weeks, because this is a huge deal in Japan, and this is a very special time of year. And I talked about how I'm sure the SBI group employees will be going to their Hanami parties, and I just want to share with you exactly what do people do during Hanami parties. So I will try to explain. This, by the way, is the outer moat of the Emperor's Castle in Tokyo, and it's one of the it's one of the spots. I can't say it's one of the best spots because, as you know, I love the Meguro River, and I love the river walk at night when they light the blossoms up from below. But this, I have seen this one, and it is quite nice. It's in the middle of the city. If I show you the top of you can see here some of the, this is buildings that are in that neighborhood. So it is literally, when I go like this, it looks like it's out in the rural area somewhere, but it is in the heart of the city, and people rent these boats, which have been done, it's been done like this for centuries in Japan. And what's important to know is that during the day, there are young co-workers that go to the parks, and that could be any one number of the parks. It also could be in some temple grounds, but usually some city parks. And people spread their blue sheets, and they spread them early. In fact, this picture shows you this guy spent the night there to get the best spot he could. So people start arriving a day or two in advance to grab the best spot under the blossoms for these parties. And the parties take place, for the duration of about 1 week when the blossoms are really full. And they're fun. They're very fun, actually. And you can tell these guys are just sitting and waiting, because there's no way in Japan, there's no way you'd spread a sheet this big and only be 3 of you. It'd be considered really rude. So they are, I am positive, waiting for their coworkers to join, and they will keep that space reserved until everybody comes. Usually during the week, Monday through Thursday, the people start to arrive around 5 or 6 p.m. from the offices. And then it's usually the weekends you might find more of the families. So there's a lot of craziness that goes on, drinking and eating and singing. People bring karaoke machines, and it's just one wild time. And you can see here, these guys are having too much fun. But on the weekends, it's really family time, and you'll see a lot of families coming and enjoying picnic lunch. Usually, I think the craziness usually starts in the evening hours, and during the day it's a little bit more calm, but it's fun. It's very, very fun, and it's all about food, and it's all about spending time for such a short duration that comes and goes to remind you that life is very short. Okay, everybody, that's all I have for you today. Remember, though, one last thing. There's no one silver bullet. So the fact that SBI VCTRADE is going to really get competitive now and launch in a full power mode, this is my own personal advice, is don't expect too much too quickly. It is just one spoke in the wheel of the whole entire ecosphere, and that is all I want to say. Okay. Take care, everyone. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.